Isla Mirza first noticed her on a rainy Tuesday, the kind of day when the city felt drenched in gray. The gallery lights had just flickered on when Ava Noor walked in, holding her small umbrella like she was apologizing to the air for taking up space. She was the new assistant. Quiet, soft-spoken, almost invisible. Almost. There was something about Ava's silence that tugged at Isla more than any masterpiece hanging on their walls. Maybe it was the way her eyes softened when she looked at a painting. Maybe the way she carried herself like someone who had learned to hide her emotions deep inside her chest. Or maybe it was simply the way she never looked up long enough for Isla to read her expression. But Isla noticed everything. That first week, Isla found herself watching Ava more than she cared to admit. How she moved gently, as if afraid to disturb the air around her. How she always tucked her hair behind her ear right before speaking. How she lingered a little too long near the sunlit windows, as though craving warmth she couldn't ask for. One evening, the gallery emptied early. Isla stepped out of her office and found Ava alone, dusting frames already dustless, humming softly to herself. A soft, delicate sound that made Isla pause. "You don't have to stay late," Isla said gently. Ava startled, her eyes wide, her lips parting just slightly. I don't mind, ma'am." "Isla," she corrected. "Just Isla." Ava nodded shyly, gaze dropping again. A faint blush touched her cheeks. Beautiful, subtle, like a secret. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Ava looked up, and Isla saw something fragile flicker in her eyes. Something warm, careful, unspoken. Longing. It lasted only a second, but it was enough. That night, Isla lay awake replaying that look, wondering why Ava's silence felt louder than anyone else's words, and why she suddenly wanted to learn every quiet thing Ava had never said. Ava arrived earlier than usual the next morning. Isla found her in the main hall, arranging fresh flowers in a slim glass vase. Her movements were slow, intentional, almost reverent. It made the room feel softer somehow. "You're here early," Isla said. Ava's hands froze for a second before she answered, "I couldn't sleep." "Bad dreams?" Isla asked gently. Ava hesitated, then shook her head. "Too many thoughts. They don't stay quiet at night." Isla understood that more than she wanted to admit. For a moment, Ava's eyes lifted, just briefly, and Isla caught something raw in them, something she sensed Ava didn't share with many people. It made her chest tighten. The gallery opened, clients came and went, and the world moved on. But Isla's attention lingered on Ava's smallest choices. How she always positioned herself near exits as if ready to flee. How she smiled only with her lips, never her eyes. How she seemed surprised whenever Isla spoke to her gently, like kindness was something foreign. Later that afternoon, a small accident broke Ava's careful composure. A framed print slipped from the display table. It didn't break, but Ava gasped, flinching back like she expected to be yelled at. "Ava," Isla said firmly but softly, stepping closer, "it's okay." I'm sorry," she whispered, voice trembling. "I didn't mean, I should have been more careful." "No one's angry. Look at me." Slowly, Ava lifted her gaze. There it was again, fear layered over something tender. A need for reassurance she didn't know how to ask for. Isla felt something twist inside her. "You don't have to be afraid here," Isla said. "Not of me. Not of mistakes." Ava swallowed, her lashes lowering. "I've never had someone say that to me." The confession slipped out before she could stop it, and Isla could see the instant she regretted revealing anything personal. So Isla didn't push. Instead, she offered the smallest smile. One she hoped Ava would believe. The following days moved slowly, threaded with a new kind of awareness neither of them dared to name. Ava seemed more relaxed around Isla, barely, softly, but enough for Isla to notice. She smiled a little more. She spoke a little longer. She looked up more often. And Isla found herself wanting those moments with a hunger she didn't quite recognize. One afternoon, Isla invited Ava to help arrange a new exhibition layout. Ava's fingers traced the edges of photo frames with quiet admiration. "You really love art," Isla said. Ava nodded. "It feels safe. Paintings don't shout. They don't expect too much. They just exist. And let you exist with them." Isla looked at her, struck by how deeply Ava's words mirrored the softness in her eyes. "Who taught you to be so gentle?" Isla asked without thinking. A faint sadness touched Ava's face. "No one. I had to learn it myself." Before Isla could respond, Ava stepped backward to lift a canvas, and stumbled. Instinctively, Isla reached out, catching her by the waist. Ava gasped, her hands flying to Isla's shoulders for balance. For a heartbeat, they were close enough to feel each other breathe. Ava's cheeks flushed. Isla's pulse stuttered. "You're all right," Isla whispered, not letting go too quickly. Ava nodded, though she didn't move away either. Her hands trembled slightly where they rested against Isla, as if trying to say something she couldn't voice. When she finally stepped back, she kept her gaze lowered, but her voice was soft. "Thank you." Isla pretended to return to the exhibition plan, but her mind kept replaying that moment, Ava's body warming beneath her hands, the soft inhale of surprise, the way her fingers lingered a second too long. Later, while packing up, Isla found Ava quietly fixing a crooked frame. The room was nearly empty, the sun dipping low. "Ava," Isla said gently, "you don't always have to be so careful around me." The shift between them wasn't loud. It didn't happen in a dramatic moment or a stolen kiss. It unfolded quietly, like sunrise creeping into a room through half-closed curtains. Ava began lingering near Isla a little longer. Isla began finding excuses to keep her close. And neither of them dared to name the feeling that rose between them like warm, trembling light. One late evening, the gallery was quiet after closing. Rain tapped softly against the windows, turning the world outside blurry and distant. Isla stayed behind to review some contracts. Ava stayed because she offered help, but Isla suspected it was more than that. "Come sit," Isla said gently when she noticed Ava standing awkwardly nearby. "You don't have to hover." Ava sat, carefully, as if afraid the chair might reject her. Isla couldn't help the small smile that tugged at her lips. "What are you thinking about?" Isla asked. Ava hesitated. "You wouldn't want to know." "I do." Ava's fingers twisted together in her lap. "I keep worrying I'll overstep. That one day you'll look at me and realize I'm not someone worth keeping around." Isla set her pen down, the weight of Ava's insecurity sinking into her chest. "Ava, look at me." Slowly, she did. "You're not just someone here," Isla said. "You matter. Your presence matters. To the gallery, and to me." Ava's breath hitched softly. "You don't mean that." "I do," Isla whispered. "More than you know." The rain softened. The gallery lights dimmed. Something fragile but undeniable settled between them like a confession neither had spoken aloud. Ava's eyes glimmered, not with tears, but with something gentler. Something hopeful. She reached out, almost unconsciously, her fingers brushing the edge of Isla's desk, then Isla's hand. She stopped herself, pulling back. "Sorry, I didn't." Isla caught her fingers lightly. "Don't apologize." Ava froze, her hand trembling beneath Isla's touch. From that night onward, the gallery became their secret world, a quiet space where glances lingered too long, and touches, though subtle, carried meaning. The air between them shifted, charged with a gentle tension neither could ignore. One afternoon, Isla found Ava adjusting a frame while perched on a small stool. Isla stepped closer, pretending to study the painting. But she wasn't fooling anyone, her eyes were drawn to Ava's hands, the curve of her neck, the way her hair caught the light. "Careful," Isla murmured, a little breathlessly. Ava looked up, startled, and their eyes met. That look, soft, hesitant, searching, made Isla's chest ache. She could see everything in Ava's gaze: admiration, fear, longing. And beneath it, something raw, unspoken. "You don't have to be so cautious," Isla whispered. I am cautious," Ava admitted, voice trembling, "because I feel too much." Isla stepped closer. "Feel what?" Ava's eyes widened, flicking down before meeting Isla's again. You make me feel things I don't know how to handle." Isla's heart hammered. She reached out slowly, brushing a stray curl behind Ava's ear. Ava shivered but didn't pull away. "I've wanted to say something for a long time," Isla said softly, "but I was afraid it might scare you." Ava's breath hitched. "Say it anyway," she whispered, voice barely audible. Isla leaned closer, close enough that Ava could feel the warmth of her breath. "I care about you. More than I should. More than I've ever cared for anyone." A tremor ran through Ava's lips. Her hands found Isla's and clutched them tightly. "I feel the same," she confessed, tears gathering in her eyes. "I've been trying to hide it, but I can't anymore." A silence fell between them, heavy but comforting. Slowly, deliberately, Isla closed the distance and pressed her lips to Ava's. It was soft at first, tentative, as though they were testing the waters of something too fragile to rush. Weeks passed, and their bond deepened. Every shared glance, every brush of fingers, every soft word became a thread weaving their hearts closer together. The gallery, once just a space of work and art, had transformed into a sanctuary, a quiet world where only they existed. One evening, Isla stayed late arranging a new exhibit. Ava sat nearby, sketchbook open, fingers flying over the page. The soft scratch of pencil on paper was a comforting rhythm, one Isla could have listened to forever. "You're amazing," Isla said softly, leaning against the counter. Ava glanced up, her cheeks flushing. "You mean the art?" Isla shook her head. "No, you. Everything about you." Ava's lips trembled into a shy smile. "I'm not sure I deserve that." "Deserve it?" Isla laughed lightly, brushing a strand of hair from Ava's face. "Ava, you've already captured me. Every quiet glance, every small smile. I've been yours for weeks, maybe months, and you didn't even know it." Ava's eyes glistened. "I've been too scared to admit it." Isla took a step closer. "Then admit it now." Ava's hand found Isla's. This time, there was no hesitation, only the warmth of shared courage. "I love you," she whispered, voice breaking. "I've never been able to stop thinking about you." Isla's heart surged. "I love you too," she replied, pressing her lips to Ava's in a kiss that was soft, lingering, and full of promise. Every ounce of restraint, every unspoken word, spilled into that moment. When they finally parted, Isla rested her forehead against Ava's. "So, what now?" she asked. Ava smiled, brushing her fingers across Isla's cheek. "Now, we live our quiet little world together. Slowly. Carefully. But always honestly." And that night, beneath the warm gallery lights, they held each other for the first time without fear, without hesitation. The quiet door no longer separated them. Beyond it lay trust, tenderness, and love, soft but unbreakable.